Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Moh Febrian Ruslan with ID number A12121073. So in this video, I will explain the materials from the first meeting until the 7th meeting. The first material is about semantics and pragmatics. Alright, the definition of semantics and pragmatics. Semantics is like decoding the meaning of words and sentences in a language. It's about understanding what words and sentences really mean, including the extra meanings they might carry. For example, it's not just knowing what a word means in a dictionary, but also understanding the feelings or ideas it might suggest. And pragmatics is all about how language is used in real life. It looks at how people understand each other when they talk, considering things like what someone meant to say, how someone else understood it, and the situation they are in. It goes beyond just the words themselves to include things like tone of voice, body language, and the relationship between people talking. Next, about the difference between semantics and pragmatics. Semantics is all about understanding the meaning of words and sentences by looking at their basic parts. It's like figuring out what words mean and how they come together to make sense. Semantics cares about the core meaning of language regardless of where or how it's used, while pragmatics is about how we understand language in real life. It's not just about what words mean, but how we use them in different situations. Pragmatics looks at things like what someone meant to say, how others understood it, and the situation they are in. It's about how language works in the real world, considering the context and social dynamics. And the example of semantics and pragmatics. The example of semantics is the student answered the question. In its basic form, the sentence conveys a specific action where a student responds to a question. The meaning is focused on the interaction between a student and a question, regardless of the context. And the example of pragmatics is this movie is so boring. When someone makes this statement during a movie night with friends, the pragmatic meanings can extend beyond the literal interpretation, depending on the context and social dynamics. The speaker's intention might imply several things. The first is they may want to suggest changing the movie to something more engaging, and two, they might be indirectly expressing a desire to end the movie night earlier, and the third is they could be seeking validation from others or engaging in shared commentary about the film's quality. And the importance of studying semantics. It is important to study of semantics because semantics is all about understanding the meaning of words and sentences in language. It helps us communicate clearly by making sure we know exactly what words mean and how they work together. By learning about the rules and connection between words, we can understand things like idioms and metaphors better. This understanding also helps us learn new words and understand language when we read or listen. Plus, semantics is useful in other areas like teaching computers to understand language and in thinking about how language works in philosophy. We move to the second material about word meaning sentence meaning, and utterance meaning. Alright, here are the definition and the example of word meaning, sentence meaning, and utterance meaning. Word meaning is what a word actually means, like the definition you'd find in a dictionary. It's the basic, context-independent meaning of words. For example, a book means a bunch of pages bound together. And next is sentence meaning. Sentence meaning is what a sentence literally says based on the meanings of its words and how they are put together. So, the dog barked loudly just means that a dog made a loud noise. The last is utterance meaning. Utterance meanings is what someone means when they say something considering the situation and what they want to communicate. For instance, if someone says, "It's cold in here," they might actually mean they want the heater turned on or a window closed, even though the words themselves just state the temperature. Next, the difference between word meaning, sentence meaning, and utterance meaning. The difference between word meaning, sentence meaning, and utterance meaning is based on what they focus on and how they are determined. Word meaning is about the exact meaning of a single word, like what you'd find in a dictionary. Sentence meaning is about what a whole sentence says based on the meanings of the words and how they are put together. Utterance meaning is about what someone means when they say something, considering the situation and what they want to communicate. Word and sentence meaning are pretty fixed, but utterance meaning depends a lot on the context. Word meaning is studied in lexical semantics, sentence meaning in compositional semantics, and utterance meaning in pragmatics. Alright, we move to the third material about synonyms, complementaries, antonyms, and converses. The definition and example of synonyms, complementaries, antonyms, and converses. Synonyms are words that have the same or very similar meanings in a given context. They can substitute for one another without significantly altering the meaning of the sentence. For example, big, large, and enormous all mean pretty much the same thing. And complementaries are word pairs that represent two opposites or complements that divide a particular domain into two mutually exclusive categories. For example, like male and female, or alive and dead. They divide things into two clear categories. And antonyms are words that have opposite meaning. They are the most direct form of semantics opposition between words. For example, hot and cold, or love and hate. They are the most direct kind of opposite words. And the last is converses are word pairs that represent a relation and its reverse or opposite relation. For example, buy and sell are converses because they are opposites in a buying-selling relationship. And the last material is about adjective meanings and sense relations. Alright? The definition of and the relation between adjective meanings and sense relations. Adjective meanings are all about describing things. When we use adjectives, we are adding details to nouns to make them more clear or interesting. There are different types of adjective. Descriptive ones tells us how something looks or feels, like beautiful for a flower or large for a house. Evaluative adjectives express opinions like saying food is delicious or movie is terrible. And relative adjectives compare things, such as saying someone is taller than someone else. And sense relations are all about how words are connected by meaning. It helps us understand how words fit together. For example, hyponym is when one word like rose is a specific type of another word like flower. Meronym is part when wholes being a part of car. Synonyms mean words have similar meanings like happy and joyful. Antonym is when words have opposite meanings like hot and cold. And converses are pairs of words that describe a relationship from a different angle, such as buy and sell. Understanding this helps us see how together to express ideas. And adjective meanings and sense relations are interconnected concepts in lexical semantics. The meanings of adjectives and the relationships they have with other words in the lexicon are closely tied to sense relations. I think that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.